Hello, great people. I welcome you to CAS, this week episode of CAS. It's been a wonderful thing being with you people and having you people following me, engaging in these conversations that we've been having on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for being with us. I remain yours, Mark Martins, a Bible teacher, writer, author, and societal development advocate. We have been talking about the relationship between the church and societal development, Christianity and societal development. How Christians need to commit to the development of their societies. Regardless of the place, whether in the Western world or in Africa or in Asia, in Europe, in America, in Asia, in Latin America, in Africa, it doesn't matter. In every country, as long as there are Christians, we are expected to engage with the development of our society, to engage in the development of our society. And we need to engage in the development of our society, or we need to contribute to the development of our society in the right way. By the right way, I mean following biblical principles, following biblical examples, maintaining biblical ethics, upholding biblical values and morals. This is very important. In this episode, I just want to use two character that share some things in common and that were engaged. Both of them are dead, and they were engaged fully and actively in the development of their society. They were engaged in many discourses, in many issues that concern the development of their society. These two personalities are Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the American Baptist Reverend, a theologian, civil rights movement activist. And then the second person is Charlie Kirk, the American political activist that was assassinated. Let me begin by establishing why I feel to just talk about them briefly and how they engaged in the matters that have to do with the development of the human society during their times. You see, both of them were assassinated. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by shooting in the 60s. Charlie Kirk was assassinated by shooting also. And another thing is that both of them died in their 30s. Charlie Kirk was killed a few days ago in his 30s. The same thing, Martin Luther King Jr. was killed in the 60s when he was in his 30s. And both of them were Christians, at least claimed to be Christians, and put it that way. So because of this connectivity between them, and I feel, and the fact that both figures were actively engaged in discourses and addressing issues that have to do with the development of a society, though in different ways. That's why I feel now to use them as model. Now, let me begin with Martin Luther King Jr. And I want to say that I'm bringing him here to tell us that he is not such a good such a good model for Christians to follow in their engagement in societal development. If we are to go by biblical Christianity, if we are to go by the Christianity of our Lord Jesus Christ, I'm not sure we will categorize Martin Luther King Jr. as such a model, such a great model that we should emulate in our engagement with societal development. I'm going to try as hard as I can to avoid delving into the personal lives of Martin Luther King Jr. and, of course, the personal life of Charlie Kirk. I just want to focus on their public presentations, their public engagement. I want to focus on basically their theological positions and the values they upheld. Martin Luther King Jr., of course, had a charismatic personality. He was a great orator. In fact, a far better orator than Charlie Kirk, in my assessment. And he had sophistry with his speech. And he was a good communicator. And of course, we know that he was a Christian. He was an ordained Christian minister. But there's a serious problem with some of his theologies. Let me point out these problematic theologies that he held. First, Martin Luther King Jr. denied the virgin birth. Yes, he denied the virgin birth. What this is saying that Martin Luther King Jr. didn't believe that Jesus was born of a virgin. Now, the problem with that is that if you don't believe that Jesus was born of a virgin, what you are saying is that Jesus was born through the normal way that human beings are born. That makes Jesus purely human and not God. And that makes Jesus incapable of living a sinless life. So to believe that Jesus was not born of virgin is as good as a tantamount to implying or insinuating that Jesus did not live a sinless life. And if Jesus did not live a sinless life, then he is not worthy to be the way, the truth, and the life that he claimed to be in John chapter 14, verse 6. This is hugely problematic. The virgin birth is actually it's one of the fundamental doctrines of the Christian faith. And it is not just something that should be overlooked. No. So this is very problematic. Martin Luther King Jr., yes, he was committed to fighting for the oppressed. He was committed to the matters that concern the emancipation of the oppressed, of the less privileged at that. But he denied the virgin birth. That is hugely problematic.